Matthews said today he wants to come back, right?
Yeah.
Did he not?
Yes. Well, that's his intention.
Pretty open-ended, man.
Right.
Yeah, it was intention.
Yeah. Well, if the intent, I mean, what do you think that number is going to look like?
What do you think it's going to look like?
Every piece of leverage he has in his hands.
Well, we had this spirited debate.
Well, Hayes, tell Ray what you said to us about his demands and what you think.
No,
I was spirited.
Listen to this, Raymond.
I said he's entitled to ask for whatever he wants, obviously. But I think if he is about winning, he's got to do what McKinnon just did. And he pushes the bar up, so he should be the highest paid player in the league for sure. But if he comes in and asks for 14.5, 15, that's just, you can't do it.
Okay, what did
It can't
McKinnon
happen.
sign for?
12.6, $100,000 more than McDavid.
Okay, so if he comes in and asks for 13 times 8.
Yeah, I'd sign that in a heartbeat. Done. But I'm saying
because the cap's going to go up.
Yeah, and that he should be the highest. He's the next guy up. What I said earlier is that he's a victim of the system.
Correct.
Like superstar player, like McDavid should be get paid $30 million a year.
Sure,
all day.
But it sucks that it's a hard cap, and it's incumbent on the high end guys to say, all right, I'm not going to push it that much further than maybe I should. And I think that's what needs to happen. I think for the betterment of the team, and I understand, I'm sure what you're going to say is maybe they spend that money on the wrong guys, and that absolutely could happen. And then he may look at that and say, man, why did I give up $1 million a year or whatever, where you spent it on this guy and he stinks.
Right.
But what if so
that could happen. But what if they spend it on the right guys? Like
but I don't know this. I don't know this, and I'm, golly, it just bugs me after these years, Hayes. I'm into your stupid hypotheticals. It drives me crazy.
It's on the line.
They are stupid.
What if he goes 13 times 8 and says, okay, you know the other $1 million that you're going to give to me? That goes to Will.
See, that's where it gets dicey. Now you say what you were saying.
He has the leverage to do this.
Yeah, I think they need to take some of that. You're right, Ray, as a free agent, he does. He has the right.
No, but he's got it now.
I understand that.
If they don't, he is technically right. He's got the 1 year, but he's a free agent now.
What I said, Ray, was that we're going to give you the money, but if you think you're going to start directing traffic here and having demands, then maybe it's not going to happen.
Well,
because as you said, they got to do things differently, and they don't need people to backtrack comments. So it's, you want the money, fine, but if you want to start directing traffic, no thanks.
And maybe that's unfair to even think that he's going to do that, right? Because I don't know. He's been very private and tight to the vest with all of his career objectives.
Yeah, he's guarded.
Yep. He's pretty guarded and really probably the way he should be. But what if there's 2 or 3 teams that call between now and July 1st and there's some monster offer that makes you rethink things? Like, it's all possible now. And it's also all possible that he's back, Marner's back, Nylander's back, Tavares is back, and Keith's back.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the crazy part about this. I don't think it's one or the other. Like, I don't think they all got to go or they all got to come back. I think it's everything in between.
That last thing you said, Ray, them all being back, I think there's 0% chance of that happening if we were doing a quick impromptu Jerry's.
0%. That's pretty low.
Yeah.
As low as it
gets, man. Although I think we said that close to 0 after the Canadian series, probably after last year. Like, they have a history of going back to the well and saying, you know what, we believe.
But Ray, did you hear Kyle's comments today, or at least read them on Twitter?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first time for me. I don't know if for the rest of us, but that was the first time he was non-committal on the core 4 or the group or whatever. Just saying he paraphrased or said everything's on the table.
Yeah.
Which it should be. Like, I have no problem with that, because you're right. If something comes across his desk that is interesting, I think he put the rest of the league on notice. Is, hey, give me a call. Let me know what you're thinking, because everything's on the table here. Doesn't mean he's going to trade anybody, but if he gets an offer that he can't refuse, or at least has to look at.
It'd have to be a monster. like a monster
Depends
for
on
Matthews or Marner. Like
Matthews,
those two guys.
To me, the monster offer would be on Matthews. Like that's the one that's the most eye-popping possibility. It would still be an enormous deal, but a center's always going to bring more than a winger.
Yeah,
always.
Of course.
And it's in particular at that level. So by saying it's on the table, sure, he's going to get more. He's going to get calls, and other teams lose out, and everybody knows that teams are going to make changes. Boston's going to look significantly different next year too, but I don't think the interest would be as, or the potential trade would be as explosive as what could happen in Toronto. Whether it's any of those three, but the monster offer is if it's got anything to do with Matthews. And if I was another team, I'd be calling.
Okay.
Yeah,
put something together, and Hayes will play GM. Put something together on the fly, Ray. Be serious. I like to put something together.
What do you got?
I'll text it to you because why would I know what a team is thinking?
That's what makes this
it's
whole
pie in
thing
the sky.
But exactly, like that's everyone's trying to connect different scenarios to this one. Like, well, they traded Huberdeau down in Florida. Well, that's because Tkachuk was there. Right? The Raptors traded DeRozan, but Kawhi was there. Like, it's one thing to say we're willing to do it, but if you got to have the offer before you can even entertain the idea of what it might look like. Like, and I don't think any of these guys, like, none of them are bad guys. None of them are toxic or anything like that.
No,
like,
they're all great guys, and they're all great players.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a situation where it's like, you got to get rid of it. Like, you got to cut it out.
It just doesn't work.
Exactly.
But I was throwing around, Ray, like, you have to think, like, Winnipeg is going to probably make a move or two that would be very significant, correct?
Sure.
Or should. And I'm not.
Well,
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, they've got two centers and a goalie that I think are,
in play.
Enormous moves that would be in play.
Exactly. And I'm not suggesting Toronto and Winnipeg, but I'm saying they're going to make moves. I think there is going to be a marketplace for top-end talent this summer based on a couple organizations that might have some availability. Mm-hmm. We were talking, maybe the Calgary Flames are players because they didn't make the playoffs, and they're going to have a new GM that probably might want to make a splash. Who knows?
Pittsburgh, maybe. Washington, they're in a different spot than they have been in the past.
There is going to be, and you have to be creative if you don't believe that this group, the way it's constructed right now, can get it done to where you need to go.
And they've proven that they can't.
I was going to say,
that's
it's not about believing.
No,
it's
just
been
about
7
years.
Dealing with it.
Yeah.
Jamie mentioned a couple of teams. I'm going to wait a little bit, but I have one that I'm just going to wait on it.
Okay.
And I have no knowledge of any of it, but it just makes so much sense.
Tell us right now. You got to tell us. You can't do that.
Give us the initials.
This is a professional show.
Give us the region or the division. Give us a division.
No, they play in the NHL.
Thanks. They're south of the border.
There you go, an American team.
Nashville, Roman Yossi.
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, what the hell? It's just we're just throwing it around because we're just. I want to be clear here because I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, Ferraro thinks this is happening." We're just hot stoving. It's just like four idiots.
Tell Keith not to radio.
Okay, what do you have?
Tell us the team and the proposition.
L.A.
Oh.
What did he say?
L.A., the Los Angeles Kings. The Kings of L.A. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
And for many reasons that makes sense, including Kopitar's got 1 year left on his contract, and his contract can be reworked to, I mean, Kopitar's a king for life, right?
Yes,
that's not what I'm talking about, but they have people that are really interesting.
Yeah, they do. They're an interesting
and they're an
team.
up-and-coming team.
Yeah,
too.
they are.
Like they are. They are going to be,
And don't tell me that Austin Matthews would say, hey, I want to go play in that college rink for the next 4 years.
No, Arizona's not happening.
Stop it.
It's
Before
not.
people keep reporting on that, stop it.
No, it's not happening. That's not going to happen. But
LA's
interesting
to me. They really are.
Yeah,
We're out of time, pal. We're out of time.
All right.
Oh, you wanted that one? Now you're moving me around.
All right, we like
how it goes.
No, well, now we need to talk about it, and we're going to claim that you're the one that.
Kicking me off. Just go now. I get it.